Viewing footage is advised only highly officials of the HP Persian faction only. If you are Zababa and you find this tape, you are to discard it. Viewer discretion is advised.
This shot will prove my point. Log 87. 2 weeks after the log, the lost and silent, we found equipment and an ink trail leading to a hole. JHP ignored the disappearance of the lost. They found 2 side logs in Siena regarding lost. Nobody knows what happened to lost whatsoever. Search teams found a hole of an inky fluid leading to it and blood. We assume lost turned a day later after his last log regarding him leaving a message to survivors, Persians, and maybe Russians. We also have to assume that there was a confrontation with probably other survivors during that day. We don't know what happened, but we can assume that lost probably is gone. On that hole, we had to encase the hole with a hole on the front and a door that would prevent, because there was these black spores coming out of that hole, and we heard some weird like creatures roaming around, along with alien like sounds. We don't know what's in there. I wouldn't go in there personally, along with my assistant. My assistant's somewhere in another part of the building as I'm making this. The entire corporation or force is encased in this one room. I'm just a supervisor. I'm not affiliated at all with the Russians or the Persians. As a matter of fact, I would have to say that in the recent 2 weeks or months regarding what happened, the Persians, they tried to sign a deal with the Russians, and we stopped them. We stopped the Persians from doing the contract with the Russians, but then a war is now breaking out. We're trying to attack the U.S., but the Persians, they know we were doing something right by stopping them. It was corrupt Persians, so we had to stop. And the Russians weren't happy, so all the Persians are on high alert in the quarantine zones. We don't know what is happening in the quarantine zones. One quarantine zone found at least 37 Russian spies trying to steal intel, information, other sorts, along with infamous figure, J.W.M from Russia. There's a quarantine zone in Russia that, well, it's a prison, or a Gulag, they call it over there. He managed to escape, get on a plane, and flew all the way to the U.S. He already knew English because he had English cellmates with him. Or dangerous and solitary confined prisoners that we would hold would end up going to the front desk or I would say, yeah, Brundes. In that area, we sent them there, and they basically spent the rest of their lives there. There was no escape ever since, the great 2025 escape. Around the day of 4th of July, they escaped and somehow got to Europe unnoticed when there was wanted posters all over every city in Europe, along with the mafia guy I just mentioned. He somehow got to the US that year. He was driving along regularly, minding his business, and then civilians went up and tried to kill him. And he defended himself, but the court that day, they suspected he was lying, or it wasn't self-defense. So they sent him to solitary confinement. By how bad everything was, it was 4 people trying to kill him all at once. We don't know what happened that year because the files are all gone, all of it's missing. And this was all in a quarantine zone. The infection of the Z virus started around the 2013 era, somewhere after a zombie bacteria was released. We forgot what the name of that bacteria was, but it was something regarding a P, like polymer bacteria, which, came from polymer. And it was in bullets, so we couldn't do anything about it. There was a lot of bullets that had to be recalled. There was at least, I would say, 1 billion were recalled in that year when it happened. But after that, then the Z virus awakened and then started infecting everyone that it could. There are still infected roaming cities with the Z virus, which it's zombies, while the maximum infection is got anthropomorphic like animals. They tend to dig very deep and dig holes in ground or anywhere pretty much, and they basically make their home through there. There's one photo of one that's an entire cave. There's items that they would use to, do their doings. They oddly have human-like behaviors. The only behavior that's changed is highly aggressiveness when aggravated. When aggravated, they start tearing you apart. Or if they're very calm and they're slightly aggravated, they will bite you, and you will get infected. You won't turn until after 2 days, which you will have enough time to get something done. While, like I said and regarded, Lost was is somewhere in Seattle. We don't know where he was, but he was somewhere around Space Needle, and there was gunfire that day. I was around there. I was somewhere a mile away from his position. I started hearing gunfire and loud screaming, and it was horrifying. I don't want to try to mimic it because my coworkers will assume that I'm infected when I'm not, and we all have backup weapons at our desk just in case if one is infected. And we have to kill him, because our order is to kill him. It doesn't matter what they say, we have to kill him. We have to not say a word. And I heard him. I managed to get to his position in time, but there was like black blood splatter on the walls, so that was somehow a dead body of one of those creatures. And I didn't see Lost at all. There was a blood trail leading to one of the holes, along with some black blood that was leading the same way, which meant he fell into that hole, or somehow he got infected. At the same time of fighting, the gunfighter stopped. I only heard one last shot when I looked down the hole, and then I saw a bullet fly up from there. And then I just heard the screaming of a man screaming down there for help. I didn't want to jump down there because that hole looked like half a mile deep. And it's just traumatizing what happened. But this is the end of the log. The log 38 or something, or 87, is going quiet now. My lies shall